Alrighty, hello everybody, welcome back. This is part 2 of our interface build. So we put the buttons in. So I'll just press play so we can see what we have. All I did was fill everything in. I took all the trucks that I had, I took all the trailers that I had, and then I created a level store. So this way when the player joins the game, they can open up the tabs and they can see all the vehicles that they could potentially have access to, right? Right now, nothing's locked down, but you can press trucks, for example, and go, okay, oh, look at that. These are all the vehicles that there are. Press trailers, right? These are all the trailers that there are. And then the level store, there's 5 levels for now. And then there's perks, right? Level 5, you get the airport access, all that stuff. So we have that. So from here, it's actually pretty easy. Pretty easy. So what we need to do is we need to create a transaction number, and then we need to just make a way to store that. So what I was thinking was that because we're able to do the fire server from the buttons here, I am going to try something here. I wanted to go into server script service, and I want to insert an object. I want to insert a script here, and then we're going to group this as a folder. This is going to be truck by. Oh, cat. This one here, truck by. All right. So now what we're going to do is in the replicated storage, it's going to go insert object of folder, and we'll call this truck by, and then we'll insert object a remote event, and this will say by. The 2 buttons that I have are the tow truck and the base truck. So by base, just like that. Okay. So now what we're going to say is that when you press, we'll just focus on the tow truck for now because it's relatively easy. What's this one here? Spawn truck. And this is the trailer. This is the trailer here. Alright, let's do this. Alright. And then this will be the end of that one. I'm trying to keep track of, because this is going to get. Why is the trailer in there? And then the garbage truck is here. So let's get that into here. And then that's the loader. That's the fish boat. That's the farm tractor, flatbed. Farm tractor, fish boat, loader, excavator, spawn flatbed, and flatbed. Yeah, one is the log trailer, one's the other one. Okay, and then those are those functions, right? So the tow truck is reasonably easy. It'll be easy to change this around. So what we want to do is we want to say in our player added, okay, we want to have a section here. We want to create a folder. So we just copy our create folder. Except instead of estates, we're going to call this trucks. All right, and then we're going to say trucks and trucks, and we'll call it Champ Trucks is going to be the name of it. Okay, and then now what we need to do is we need to create a value for the tow truck. So that'll be the first one here. So we'll just call this tow. And then these ones need to be tow. Tow is the variable name, not the value name. The value name is going to be tow truck. And the parent will be trucks. just like that. So now what we need to do is we need to create a check on the data for the trucks. Truck data. So what we can do, the easiest thing we can do is we can take our cash one, our first one, put that here, and we will call this tow truck data. And then we want to copy that and we want to paste that here. Everywhere it says data. And instead of saying cash champs, it's gonna say tow truck champs, or whatever your variable is, but it needs to be its own. It needs to be its own thing. So if success, then see we have cash.data. We need it to be this value here. So if it succeeds, it needs to be this value here. And I was going to say, well, where is the tow truck? Hold on a second here. Do I need, I might need a, see, it says low, high cost. Dot value. So this will have to be tow dot value. Right. This will have to be tow dot value. There we go, equals tow truck data. Tow truck data is going to be saved on tow truck champs. Okay. I think that's right. State low, high, state low. Is that just for that? Yeah, that's just the variable for the function. Okay. All right, perfect. So it's going to load whatever that value, that value is. So now we need to set that value, right? Because if we start the game now, it's going to load. It's going to give us an error. It's going to say it's 0 and that's nil, and we can't do anything about it. So now we need to tell it to buy. So what we want to do is we want to go to our tow truck, and we want to say okay, let's just block out the spawning of the tow truck. Let's not focus on that right now. Let's just focus on trying to purchase it. So we'll say game dot let's see, we can even make this a local. We can say local buy equals, we can say game dot replicated storage dot truck buy, what is it? Dot buy tow. Just like that. And then if it fires that, then here this could be tow by whatever. And now we need to say local event equals game dot replicated storage dot truck by dot buy tow. All right, and we need to say event on server event connect function, and then we need to say player and variable, and then we can say if variable is equal to and then what's it going to fire here? It is going to fire we'll say fire server, and it can say by tow. That's going to be our variable. So for you, This is your store. So whatever it is, it could be buying a sword, it could be buying armor, it could be buying whatever. That's just all we're doing here. We're just creating the button, and we're creating the code which is going to make the person buy it, the object. So what happens when they receive the variable buy till then? Yeah, we could then say player dot, we'll go to player added. We could say player dot chant trucks. All right. Dot tow truck dot value equals, and now we can set the transaction value. So what do we want that to be? It could be 361. It's as simple as that. So now let's spawn in the game and let's see if when we press that button it sets that value. Now it won't save, it's set to sync when you spawn in, but it's not set to save yet. So we then have to change that function so it saves this value. And I think we can do that within the interface there on the script there, the server script. So first let's see if we can change that value. So if we go to the player and we look at, there's our truck, there's our tow truck, it's got no value. Okay, and then if we click on here, and we click on here, look at that truck. Oh, it did spawn it in. Huh? Whoops. What button did I use? That's odd. It shouldn't, that's what it should do. It shouldn't, a garbage truck, hold on, maybe there's a duplicate here. Flatbed, excavator, fish boat, farm tractor, flatbed, bus. That's the bus, that shouldn't be in there. So we have the bus, we have the garbage truck, we have the tow truck. Oh, I wonder if spawn tow. Ah, it's firing that button instead. Okay, that explains it. Not spawn truck. Alright, so this, okay, that's so funny. Script dot parent, it should be dot trucks. Aha, I figured it out. Okay, dot trucks. Script dot parent dot trucks. Hold on, wait. Where is this? Oh, why am I editing that script? Should be editing the master script. Oh, that explains it. That explains it. Duh. Alright, so there's the tow truck there. Duh. Alright, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of code all of a sudden. What's going on? Okay, so if we open up the local script, we actually need this here. Put this in the master script. Now we can try it out and see if that's going to work. Now it should work. Save it. So it always starts with one function, and then what you do is you add to that function. Okay, let's add more and more conditions to that function, and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So if we're able to set this value, then we're able to search this value from the interface, and then we're able to use that as a way to limit access to the buttons. Basically, that's all we're trying to do. So tow truck, its value is 0, and then if we check this out, there we go. Now it has the value of 361. So just like that, that is a test run of us purchasing the tow truck, quote unquote. Because I know I didn't quite go through this, I think, effectively in the last 5 or 10 videos. So I figured, you know what, let's just go through it effectively in this one, step by step. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to save it. So the saving and the it's going to be done here. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to take this function for the tow truck, and we need to put it into here. But instead of get async, we need to say set async. And then the tow dot value. So what we need to do now is we need to say player dot champ trucks. So we need to say player dot champ trucks dot tow truck. All 3 of your food bowls are full, bud. All 3 of them. I made sure. And he's still like, hey. Okay, so we need to connect this to the data store as well. So we need these 2 lines of code in here. Okay, so now we got that, now we got that, now we got that. Now we need to take this value and we need to say this is the value we're gonna save. And then what else do we have to do? Syntax error. Nope, just one. Okay. Instead of leaderboard loaded, we should say tow truck. And then something like that. No tow truck. Now I wasn't sure if I wanted to make it so that way you could purchase the truck, and then if you sell it, you could sell it back to the dealership later on to get your money back. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make that kind of a system yet or not. You can add that in now. Now is a good time to think about that. If you want to do that, then all you need to do is have a sell button in there or somewhere else, maybe another window which says sell truck, and then it just neutral does the value, blah blah blah. We'll go over that maybe. Okay. So then it should say buy tow truck, yes. And then of course what we want to do is we want to see if we can. It's going to cost us some money. So now we need to save this one here. And then this will be player dot leader stats dot cash dot value. And then we just need to copy that and say okay, and then we have to make sure that this is set to set async, not get async. And just like that, we're setting the value. We're not getting the value, we're setting the value. Here we're getting the data store, here we're setting this to the data store. Okay, and then what's the value going to be? We could say player dot leader stats LEADER dot cash dot value equals, and then whatever the cost is going to be, we could say minus, I don't know, this is the tow truck, so we could say 50,000. Now I don't have that. I've got minus 2,000, so this is actually going to give me 5,000. You're going to see it. You're going to see how developers win their own games. Okay, so now I'm just going to save it, and then we're going to go through it, and then it should give me that value. It should give me 5,000, and then it should save. Then we'll quit the game and we'll rejoin it, and we should still have that value of 361. And it's that simple. Then we can just use that transaction number from the player, and we can then restrict the button, and we can say if they have the value, let them buy it. If they don't have the value, let them buy it. If they already have the value, say you already have it, and then spawn it into the workspace. That's it. Simple as that. So I got minus 2,000. Okay, so there's no value. All right, open it up. Make the purchase. Leaderboard loaded. Buy tow truck, yes. Excellent. Leaderboard loaded. It gave me 0 monies. Interesting. So there might be an error there. So let's just... Oh, the value is now 0 again? The value of string cannot be converted to a number. I wonder if it's the cash part. Let's see what happened. Oh, I might not have said dot value. Maybe that's it. I might not have said dot value in one of these. Let's get some music going again. That's probably it. Oh, look, it saved it. Look, I got 5,000 cash. Haha! That was weird. That was weird. So we run into an error like that where it did save. It just didn't. Oh, because that's the leaderboard. Set async. Cash.value. Yeah, it didn't give me any errors. It said yes, you purchased it, but then it reset the value to 0. So I wonder why that is. Because it should have set the value here. Oh, you know why? Set async and set async. No, that's right. It does the cache check here. Maybe it fired too many times. That could have been what it was too. There's no like a debounce on the button, so like it fires once and then it waits, right? Which is what you should do here. We should say wait 1 like that. Okay, so now I have the truck, and I got 5,000. Weird. Must have had something to do with the negative value. All right, well, let's try this one more time. I could always use another 5,000. And this is what the player would do, right? They want to buy the sword. They got to pay 50 coins. This is exactly how they do it. They click on the button. It takes the money out of their inventory. And they have it, right? And then, so then what you can do is, on the player added script, you can actually look for that number. And you can say, if the player has that number, then teleport, like if there's something they need in their inventory, you can clone something to their inventory. All that sort of stuff. Look at that. Oh, no, there was an error. Now, what's the error here? Line 31, tow truck buy. Oh, it's the leader stats.cash.value. It's a value of string cannot be converted into a number. Oh, if this has to say like that. No value, no value. Now let's try that. So it'll say when we load in, I'll have 10,000, but it keeps giving me that error. We don't want it to do that because then the player is going to think, "Oh, my game sucks." I won't be, you won't be able to do another transaction because your money's at zero. Hey, I've lost everything. I grinded for days, Get that fishing boat now going on. Yep. Well, it's fixed now, so you can get right back at it. Okay, so ooh, there's some water there. Ooh, tsunami. Yeah, see, I have the 10,000 in there. So then if I click on it again, aha. Now it gave me another error, but I'm still getting money. That I like. Oh, it's not? It's not? Tow truck is not It should be. No, that is gonna have to be dot value. Alright, so then, right, because it's saying tow truck is not a valid member, and it's because it's trying to find the value now. So didn't I have to write this the other way? I think I had to write this the other way. I think we had to say this variable here has to equal this variable here. You see, so you gotta play around with it, and you gotta sort of, you know, like, how else do you learn, right? There's, you know, there were no errors. It wasn't giving us any errors, and it was functioning, but it wasn't functioning in the way that we wanted it to. And that's kind of the interesting thing about programming, is that you can program it and think it's right, but it's full of all these kind of, you know, you have to find the process. So I think that's right. I think we had to reverse those. When you sync it, the value equals the data. No, when you sync it, the data equals the value. And when you read it, the value equals the data. Perfect. So it's the opposites. All right, you see that? And I didn't even get to keep the $5 grand. Really? Oh, there we go. Buy tow truck, leaderboard loaded. Now that means it's saved. We didn't get an error. Perfect, it works. So now I should probably change that down. Back down. it's good because I wanted to check on the houses again, and I'll have to have money for that. Okay, so now what we can do is we can change this down to, we just say the cost can be -5 now that I got money. So we have the variable. This is if you buy it. Now what we need to do is we need to say, okay, so what happens if we already have it? And that's in the master script. So if we already have it, so we need to say if script dot parent dot chapter, because now we're searching the player, right? From here, champ trucks, and then dot tow truck, which is the value. Oops. We don't want to do that. And then I say greater than the number is 391, 361. So I would say greater than 300. It's just a good check on there, just in case something happens or whatever. It's not 0, it's not 1 or 2. It's just it's greater than 300. Then now this is how I had the button set up the last time. If you already have it, buy it. But we don't want to do that. We want to say let's see, else if, and then we want to say we don't want to say greater than, we want to say less than 300. Then and then we can end the function here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and then we get all the errors are gone. Okay, so now if you already have it, the value's higher, then what do we want it to do? We could say script dot parent, no, we could say truck. Let's see, we could say truck dot tow dot tow. Now that's the button. Dot tow dot text label is probably what I have to do. Tow dot text label dot text equals already owned, already have, right? Spawning. Please wait. All right. So then if you have it, it'll spawn in this code here. The regular spawn, and then we'll say wait. No, let's tell it to wait, like 0.1, and then we'll do that. There we go. Now we'll do the regular code. So normally if we just push the button, it'll say this is where the tow truck is, right? It finds it in the workspace. If it doesn't have it, then it fires the server tow event. And the tow event, which is the local that we got from the other script, is our spawn tow truck. If we go to trucks and we go to tow spawn, our remote event is tow. Spawn car event on server event. Yeah. Tow event is, where is it? Replicates for spawn truck.tow. So we fire that remote event, the script picks it up, we get the vehicle. Okay, that's how that works. So it's a little easier for me because what I did is so when we set up that first interface where we allowed ourselves to spawn the individual vehicles in, what I did is I've limited then which vehicles could be in the workspace at what time, just by finding the name of the object, and if it's there, deleting it, and then saying, okay, what do I want spawned in and what don't I want spawned in? That was it. And I went through each button. So now when I make this button here, I'm able to add that, right? So for example, when the base semi is in the workspace, we don't want to have the bus, we don't want to have the garbage truck, and we don't want to have any other trucks. We just want to have the semi. But the tow truck can tow all the vehicles, so that could be its own vehicle, and we can have that with the base semi. You see that? There's no remove tow truck. The only remove tow truck is when you press the tow truck button. So it's just kind of one of those things that I just want to throw out there with it. Some food for thought, I guess, when you're thinking about how to design these buttons. These are things that you want to add into the functions of the buttons. Yeah, anyways, and like I say, that because we want to control, we're allowing the player to spawn objects into the workspace. If we allow the player to spawn too many objects, you'll crash the server, and we don't want to do that. So we have to limit that for gameplay reasons. So, getting all that stuff out of the way. So we have, if we have the vehicle, it'll say that, and then it will spawn it in. If we don't have it, it'll fire by tow truck. And then what we should say is we should say the text on here. And it should say purchasing, like that. And then it'll fire the tow truck. But we're going to do one more thing on here. We're also going to make a check on how much money the player has. Because if the tow truck is 50,000, we want to make sure the player has at least 50,000 before they could even click on the button. So we're going to add that as well. So you see what I'm doing? We made a small function. Now we made the function bigger, and we're going to make the function even bigger again. So let's just see what the function that we just created does. We already have it, so it should say already have spawning, please wait. Alright, so we have this here. Oh, player GUI. Oh, I gotta go one more parent on that value. Let's see, line 68, this one here. Show in Explorer. Script up parent. The parent. Oh yes, one more. We need one more. Like that. And that means we're going to need one more there. Right, and so this is kind of a way that if you can do this one button at a time, which is what we're doing here, one button at a time. First you create the base code, and then you just expand on that base code. That's all you do. You create the foundation, and then we build off of it. That's what we're doing. So we have it. It should now say already have spawning, please wait. There we go. And look at that, it's spawned into the workspace. And then if we click on it again, it'll get rid of it. Because that is built into the spawn code. Oh, nice. Nice. There we go. Cool. So that's a really good feature. That's a really good feature. All right. Wow. that's pretty much going to do it. There's not much more to this. Okay, so where we can expand this is we can say if we can say script dot parent dot parent dot parent dot leader stats dot cache dot value is greater than, here, watch this, we'll do this, is greater than, let's say 50,000, and so we're gonna make this into like a dual function. We'll take this here, copy this, and we'll do this and dot xp dot value is greater than, how much experience should we have to get this truck into play? Let's say 1,000. Let's just say 1,000. Then, all right, we can say then, and what we'll do is else. We can do that. We can just do that. So it'll do this function if you have the money and you have the experience. It'll go to here. So if you already have it, it'll spawn it in. If you don't have it, you'll be able to purchase it. So then, if you don't have enough money, we should just take this right here, and we should say cost, and we'll say 50,000 cash, and 1 XP to use. So we'll just say something like that, and 1,000 XP, something like that. So we would want to change this value around. And we would want to say, let's see. We probably want this here, actually, if you already have it. Do we want to limit it like that? I guess we don't necessarily have to restrict it like that. So you could add further restrictions on there. You could say if the value is greater than that. Okay, or we could put this on the, yeah, you know what? Let's see, I don't like this idea, actually. Let's get rid of that. And let's take this if statement here. No, let's cut it out, and let's put it in here. If it's less than 300, and if you have these certain conditions, that's what I wanted to do. So if you already have it, it's going to spawn it in. If you don't have it, but you have the money to, it'll purchase it. But if you don't have it and you don't have the money to purchase it, then we need to say we want to say cost is 50,000 and 1,000 XP. That should be that. Now, I don't know. Now, the only thing that I can do, since I already have the value, is I can change this here. So we can change that so it has 2 S's in it. And then when they join, we can change that so it has 2 S's in it. And now what that'll do, that'll negate that value because it won't be able to find it. And that's the only way that I can technically reset this. That's, oh no. That's the only way I can reset this. So, come here, you. Come on. Come here. Come here, you. Don't just sit there and be like, you want to pick me up? Yeah. Are you going to sit right there? Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so now let's roll through this. We'll save that to Roblox, and then this will be the end of this video because it's already another 45-minute video. So we've set it up. We've set it up to save. And we've set it up so that way it'll function when we already have it. We can use the same button to spawn it in. And if we don't have it, we'll be able to purchase it if we have the money. So let's see what it says if we don't have the money. There we go. Perfect. So it did everything that we wanted it to do. So now that truck's 50,000 and you need 1,000 experience. And as you saw, because I reset the value there. So XP, we'll do that. Perfect. That's pretty much going to do it for that. There isn't much more. There isn't much more that I can that we can expand on, really. That's pretty much it. So each button needs to be set up in this way. We need a transaction number and we need a cost. Whatever that is, could be cash, it could be XP. You can give the player a reward, whatever you want to do. And then if you give them a reward and you use the transaction number, we need to be able to save those numbers, right? So the last thing that I would probably do here is I would have like, you click on this and maybe there's like a truck store, there's a sell truck button. And then when they sell it, they can get 50% of their money back. I think that's all right. And then that way it gives the player the option, right? They can choose their path. They can choose where they want to go. They can explore, and they don't necessarily have to fully unlock the game in certain instances to really explore a lot of the game, right? Because they can buy the truck and say, oh, I don't like it. Maybe I just want the garbage truck. Like, you know what I mean? They can just play that way of the game, or the trailers. You know, I bought this trailer, but I don't like it. They could sell it. Maybe they're having more fun with this trailer. And so on and so forth. So that's going to do it for part 2. We added the code. We created the transaction value. And now that's it. Now we just have to connect all the buttons, which I'll do on my own time. And then that'll be that. So thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. You guys are awesome. And I'll see you all in the next video.